Big Poppy is in the house. Today I'm going to be answering some questions for Joe. Joe is a brand new reloader. He currently is trying to reload 5.56 and 2.23. He does have a Loadmaster made by Lee. Some of the questions that he's brought up is he's having a lot of problems with the case feed of when the case advances over to the shell holder. His cases continue to fall over. The other thing that he's running into a problem is that when he's going to deprime, once again he's having some problems like some of the rest of us of the pins breaking off and being bent on decapping. Mainly that's happening to him on his needle rounds. And then just to make it even a little bit harder for him, starting out, this is his very first press, he's also having problems with seating the primers. Joe, I'm going to show you another way that I load 223 and 556 and explain that process to you. And hopefully this will help. You know, as you already know, you're going to need a scale to weigh your powder. You're going to need a caliper. You're going to need a notepad and pen. And before we get started, I have also purchased a new item that came out this year, and it's called Lee, and it's the auto drum powder measure. I'm going to be using that today. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen on the market. And all the years I've been reloading, this thing is very accurate. Later I may come back and do another video, but let's give credit where due. Fortune Cookie 45 LC out there. Elvis Ammo. If you go out there and look at their two videos, they've done an outstanding job with this. Fortune Cookie, he's well known in the industry, very knowledgeable. If you go and visit his site and review some of his videos, he's very thorough. I think he's probably one of the best out there. And Elvis Ammo, he's got a lot of good videos out there, and he takes his time and he goes through and tries to prove things out instead of just taking things as they're said in another YouTube video from another reloader. One that he's put out recently is for the Blackout 300. He's got one out as far as different issues that he's proved out as far as the brass and using different types of dies from two manufacturers. So you might want to go out there and take a look at that. Fortune Cookie, he's actually bought quite a few of these. I've got 4 here on site right now, and I've got 10 presses, so I'm going to be buying some more. But I'll tell you what, it's one of the best that I've seen. Joe, what I've done is I've taken my primer fixture out of the press. Again, you know, mine has alarms and stuff on it, so I've taken it totally off. I've also taken my brass collector off. I've also taken off, and I know this is what you have, I've also taken off my powder drop that I normally would run on that, and it's got your little round disc. And so let's go over what I've got here. I've got the new powder measure from Lee, and again, I'm not going to go into details on it. If you go and look at Elvis Ammo and Fortune Cookies, they did a very good job. I couldn't beat it as far as explaining it and going through the examples that they've shown. Outstanding job. The second one is, you know, seating your bullets. The next one is I use a crimp. I always have a recipe card on all my presses. before I start, and if I end at the end of the day and I want to come back and know exactly where I was and what I left off, what I'm going to be reloading today is again 223-556. My bullet that I'm using is 55 grain VMAX Hornady. The product number for the bullet is 22371. Basically you're using a .224 diameter bullet. Case trim length is 1.750. 1.750. Max case length for trim is 1.760. Overall dimensions for seating complete is 2.250. I'm using CFE 223 powder. My load, everything that I do when I give a recipe, my recipes all come from all the books. I've got them all. I never go max on anything that I shoot. The only thing that I may have a couple special recipes might be on my 5.7 by 28, but everything else is in the book. So what I'm looking for, I didn't go max, and if you look in the Hornady book, I'm going to be loading on my powder. 26.1 is in the book, and I've rounded it off to 26 grains. So first thing you're going to do is you want to validate your powder drop, and the way you're going to do that, Joe, is you're going to take a notebook and you're going to go through here, and what you want to do is take your pin here out of your Loadmaster, and what that will do is it will stop the rotation going through each one of the dies. It will only strictly let you raise it up and down, and that's really what you want. What I do is I take all my primers, I deprime them. You've seen probably some of my videos if you haven't. I deprime everything, then I have them cleaned. I use stainless steel pins. Then I come back behind that and take my media separator, and I use that to get all the pins out. The next thing that I will do is go and trim all of my cases, and I got a video out there where you can see where I can go through quite a few of them and trim them. You know, at the same time I'm doing inspection, I'm checking for any cracks around the lips, any dents, you know, is there any, and a lot of times if you take your finger and run it along the case and it starts hanging up on it, some of those dents and scratches are too deep. You might as well just throw them away and don't use them. The next thing I will do is go ahead and install all of my primers. You'll notice I had another video where I bought the new Lee, where you put it on a bench and you can prime them. So this is what I did with these cases here. So this case is 100% totally, it's been cleaned, deprimed, trimmed, inspected, and a new primer installed. So you're going to take this and you're going to put it in, and you're going to take your little locks here on your side of your Loadmaster, and you're going to take the one that's right over top of where you're going to have your powder drop, which is your third hole, and you're going to take and you're going to raise the ram up. And you're going to be looking and validating that this is actually moved up here, and you'll see it's in the up mode, so it's dropping the powder down into your case. Bring it back down. Take your case right here, take your scale and go ahead and drop that in, and you'll see that I'm at 26.1. So it's 1/10 off of where it's at. I have no issues with that, and you're going to repeat that process 10 times. And I've already did that. And when you take it, you want to do 10 times divided by 10, and in this particular case of all my drops, I came in at 26.04. Okay, we'll set that out of the way. Alright, so now all my cases are right here. My bullets are to the left, and I'll try to do a couple at the end, a couple on top of it so you can actually see some of the setups and stuff. So there's the bullet that I'm going to be installing today. Alright, so what you're going to do, and then the second thing is you've already identified your powder. It's set where you want it. Okay, your next die in your fourth hole is going to be your seating. So you're going to dial it in, and I already know that you know that that's done correctly. And then the next one, I use a crimp. I put a slight crimp on it, and that's going to be in your fifth hole. So now we verified that all the components are here. We verified the recipe card to the book. We verified that everything's done with the case. We verified that the case has been inspected and it's a good case. We verified that we have a primer and the primers are in there correctly. So you're going to take your case, and before you put that case back in, you're going to want to put this back in because it's going to make it where it actually cycles. Okay, so take your case and leave that lock, that little case lock that keeps your case in where your powder drop is. Take that and move it totally all the way out of the way. Take your seating lock and push it all the way against your plate, and also do the same thing with your crimp. So now you're going to take this case and you're going to put it in that right underneath the powder drop. You're going to raise it up. We've verified that the powder thing is working correctly. We're going to come down. It's going to advance it to the seating die. I'm going to take the bullet. I'm going to put it on top. I'm going to come up with it. Going to go ahead and cycle that. Bring that back down. Bring it back up. And now we have a crimped and finished round. Yeah, if I can get it in the picture, video here. Okay, so now at this point, you want to verify, because your overall length that your target is 2.250. That one is 1/100 thousandths off. And this is 2.50. So we're good on the length and the seating. And what you're going to do is you're just going to continue to go through that process. Okay? So up, yep, powder's in, comes around, put a bullet on it, bring it up, seat it, crimp it, in the barrel, and it's done. So once you get in a rhythm, you're going to be able to do this. So you're going to go up, powder, bring it around, put another case in, put your bullet on top to be seated, bring it around, put a bullet on it, bring it down, put another case in, After you get 10 of them done, I like to go ahead and do another check on the overall length. And you will see that I'm 2.252. Okay. The next thing is, now I've already did 10. I want to go ahead and come back and I want to verify that I'm still at my 26 that I'm targeting for my powder grains. So again, I'm going to take this out, set it aside, bring it down, put the brass in, run it back up, bring it back down, and I'm going to verify it on the scale again. And this time I got 26.3. And let me give you a close-up on some of this. I'll try to do the best I can. So again, to the setup, here's the brass. Here. There's the bullets here. There's the scale that I'm using. Powder, I always like to leave my powder that I'm using at the press, so I know exactly where I left off if I walk away and come back the next day. Go ahead and always remove your powder from your reservoir. Don't leave it in it. A lot of times it'll start turning black, and there's also some safety issues you need to consider. Also, when we talked about recipe cards, this is what mine looks like. Okay, now let's put a case in there. I did this before trying to do it at the same time, but we'll see how this works. So let's go ahead and put our pin back in. And we're going to run that up. Bring that back down. It's going to advance. Okay. I'm going to put a bullet on it. Right there. And hold on a second. So now the case and the bullet's going up to be seated. Goes back down, advances to the next one. And here's where you have your crimp. And let's bring this up, and we're going to crimp it. Bring it back down, and into the ammo box it goes. And there's the finished round. I can usually get quite a few finished, as you can tell. I've been reloading quite a bit of 5.56 and 2.23 this week. So there's a pretty good pile there. Okay, if you like my channel, please subscribe. As always, shoot safe, good shooting, and thank you.